crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. I got Olympic gold. I got Olympic gold. I got Olympic gold. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn.
All right, let us break down the WWE SummerSlam 2016.
Oh, yeah. Once again in Brooklyn, and it's the pay-per-view of the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Because WCW doesn't exist. There's no competition.
So, first I want to say the stage looked great.
Yes.
I like what they did.
Finally.
Finally get away from the same generic look every time and only change it for WrestleMania. They changed it for this. I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah. They kept it for Raw. As we're recording this, caught the beginning of Raw, and I think it was just for ease to break down, or not to break down, so they just kept it, and I almost wish they would keep going with it.
Yeah.
It looked awesome. Even some of the details, the gray mats, the gray barricade, that's a little bit different. The ring posts all lit up, and
the LED lights on the ring posts.
Yeah. So the entire arena was awesome. It sucks you start out with something so great and appealing, and then end with something so ugly.
Oh yeah, so ugly. So we're gonna skip the pre-show because no one gives a shit about the pre-show. First match of the main card: Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens versus Enzo and Cass.
Oh yeah, Jericho.
Oh yeah, this was a fun little match. So the experience of watching this match was fantastic for us. So we just synced up our phone to the car and just listened to it on the speakers as we were driving back, trying to watch it on a little iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily a little iPhone, but an iPhone 6 Plus, trying to watch it as I drive. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I missed a couple things, but I got to rewatch it.
Coming back from Stockton Con, and we're
the real Comic-Con.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck you, San Diego. This was $18 for 2 days.
Fuck you, San Diego. Yeah.
Feeling classy.
So we were on our way back, and we ended up watching the intro of this because we were losing service a couple times.
4 times.
Yeah.
Got to hear the Enzo and Cass promo.
Yeah.
100 times.
I'm a mark for them, so nothing too wrong with that. It was a fun start to the event. I wish they would have gotten more time.
Yeah, I thought actually they were going to give these guys, they were finally going to give the opening match some time. Because it's Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. I was like, you're going to give these guys some time to really work the match.
Right.
Really push up. No, it was standard 10, 11 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
We weren't able to time these, so.
Yeah, the build was so great to this, too. I enjoyed it a lot. The exchange between Jericho and Enzo when Jericho came out and was with Charlotte. And then Enzo came out and was kind of supporting Sasha Banks, and then they had that mixed tag. And then they've kind of been building, from there. Kevin Owens came out at one point and was telling Big Cass he should have left Enzo back in NXT, and he was weighing him down and stuff. So the promos in this was very entertaining to the build up to it. They didn't give Jericho any mic time on the pay-per-view.
Which was surprising.
Yep, and that should have been kind of a clue of like, you're short for time. They kind of got some spots in. There were some funny moments with Kevin Owens.
Yeah, doing the Red Rooster from Terry Taylor.
Yeah, right there on the apron, kind of does the little jive or whatever.
Yeah, lightsaber, whatever.
Yeah, and then kicks him.
Yeah.
So it was entertaining start. I think it played the role that they wanted it to. Disappointing as a fan of all these guys.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it was.
So overall, Jericho and Owens win with a pop-up code breaker. I guess this is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, and somewhat of an awkward one. Enzo didn't
Especially with Enzo having concussions.
Yeah, I don't know if he didn't get enough air or...
I think it looked like Jericho didn't quite sneak up there fast enough.
Yeah.
To really time it right. I think he was a little bit behind because he was already on the ground. Or he was a little bit maybe ahead, actually. Because he was already on the ground before...
And then Enzo just kind of lands on him.
Yeah.
Awkwardly.
He was supposed to be up in the air with Enzo, and
there were some cringeworthy moments, which we'll get into on the next match.
Yeah, SummerSlam did not have its... definitely was... Botchamania is going to have fun with this one.
Yeah, that'll be a long one.
Yeah. They may have to break that in 2 parts. Jericho and Owens win with a pop-up code breaker. Decent match. I thought it was a fun way to start. Wish Owens and Jericho would have had some time on the mic and just would have had more fun.
Good back and forth.
Yeah. So then we got Charlotte versus Sasha Banks for the WWE Women's Championship.
Yep. I like these two. I actually like this match. I've been very critical of Charlotte, but this was a really good match. The downsides, the ending, I thought that was terrible. That you give Sasha just a paper champion. I don't know how they're gonna, if they continue this feud.
Well, the thing was, a couple wrestling magazines come out like PW Insider and stuff, basically saying Sasha's injured, and she's got some injuries going into this, and she's taking time off to recover. Some are saying it's possibly a suspension, like everybody else, like the last 3 people we've had being suspended, and so they're removing the title off her and giving it to Charlotte for now. It wasn't the original intention, but because of what's going on recently, either she's going to get suspended or she's having nagging injuries.
Wow, that's too bad.
So that's the reason. From what they're saying, anyway, it's not like an official thing.
Right,
but you know how these,
no kidding.
So, but overall, I thought the match was okay. 2 botches. Jeez. Yeah. 2 bad botches.
There's that one in the corner. I have no idea what they were trying to do.
Like a sidewalk slam from the top or something.
I guess. And they even struggled to start with it, it seemed like.
Right.
And then eventually she just drops her, and Sasha, if she didn't have a nagging injury before the match,
she does now.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, she was, a lot of people were wondering if there was something wrong with her. You were too. Like, she was selling so well.
Yeah,
that you started thinking it was a legit injury.
Yeah, so. It was sort of similar to the Bayley match, and I do enjoy that part of wrestling. This was more of a concern. It wasn't like, oh, she got caught with a punch and a legit punch or something like that. This was, oh man, she may be feeling it. She was holding her back for most of the match, and Charlotte started attacking it. So that's what was that was hard to figure out if that was a legitimate injury or not.
Yeah, she's focusing really heavy on the back, and so, yeah, you're not sure if it was a real injury or not. You think she wouldn't focus on the back if it was a real injury. You think she'd tell her something. Next, we have The Miz versus Apollo Crews. We didn't see this one. Miz won, apparently.
I watched some of the highlights. I like the entrance was kind of cool. I like The Miz. I'm glad he retained.
They're wasting him. With the Intercontinental title. He needs to have more high-profile matches. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe have Dolph or somebody come out on this or something. The Miz needs somebody because he's doing great right now, and he needs a great worker with him.
Yeah, but what sucks is they place him on SmackDown, and they haven't been doing much on there. And he carried this whole feud. I'm waiting for Apollo Crews to do something, and he's just not. Yeah, he's so athletic. He's got a great look, and I just couldn't give a shit.
It just seems like they don't learn from the history of WWE. They're making this guy a straight-up smiling baby face, and they're not giving him anything, and he's not going to get over. He's just going to become a jobber here pretty soon.
Well, and I was waiting for this last SmackDown before the pay-per-view. Miz is calling him Apollo Creed, making fun of him, and I'm waiting for him to come back with something, and he just corrects him. And it was a complete letdown. And I don't know if that's how it was scripted for him or what, but you break off of that. You give something more than it's Crews. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
So actually before that, we did have a backstage moment with Jon Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
And Mick Foley. And he's just talking shit about, and I think Daniel Bryan was there. Yeah, Daniel Bryan was there. And so Jon Stewart is there for some reason. And I don't really think the wrestling crowd is necessarily his demographic.
No.
But, I mean, there's some people that probably watched him, but I don't think his type of humor is quite what people are looking for in wrestling. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong.
Well, last year it worked because they were including his feud with Seth Rollins on Raw. So people were able to get familiar and know that he was going to be a part of the show.
That's true.
This one, he just shows up.
Yeah, just shows up. Talking shit about Stephanie. Then, oh, Stephanie's behind me, isn't she? And turns around. So it just starts this ha-ha, hee-hee moment. Right. Which is great. Great comedic timing and everything. But again, I don't really know if that hooked the wrestling crowd so much.
Right, yeah.
So he talks to New Day asks him to come over, and he talks to him. Now we go into the AJ Styles versus John Cena match, which is finally the match that we got that I wanted.
Yeah.
Not the Money in the Bank match.
I did enjoy the Money in the Bank match, but yeah, this match was awesome.
This was the one that they saved everything for. Mm-hmm. I get what they did in the Money in the Bank one, and it's obvious now they saved everything for this one, for the big payoff.
Yeah. There's some great spots in this.
This was match of the night, clearly.
Yeah, the downside for me, is the butchered FU is now even more just it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the Super One doesn't even beat him out.
Yep. So what's the point? It's not a finisher. You haven't mastered anything. You just completely discredited anything. That's the only downside for me to this match.
Well, he's working on his indie moves apparently. So
yeah,
he did a lot of indie finishers and stuff. Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
He's got the timing down on some of those too. They look good.
No, he looked good. He did good and everything. But it's just so funny that generic ass Cena with his fucking 5 moves, all of a sudden now is doing a Canadian Destroyer and fucking something else. He did something else as well. It's like, what the fuck? He's doing all these indie moves now.
He's trying to get over with the indie crowd, I guess. Yeah. Which it seemed to work. I don't know the point of he lost. We'll start with that part.
Finally,
yes. And we were talking about this. This is how it has to go. And I was pissed after Battleground. After
Brooklyn Ground.
I was pissed after Battleground that his team picked up the win
decisively too.
Yeah, in the fashion that it was. It would have made more sense for Enzo and Cass to get the pin if that's how they wanted to do it. So I was real nervous about this. AJ Styles goes over and he leaves the Never Give Up band in the ring and he gets an applause. He gets an applause from everyone.
He may get the applause for a good match. Mm-hmm. I almost wonder, because the way those crowds are, they're so tuned in. They're smart marks, apparently.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if they were more clapping because of the fact he finally did a job. Like,
that could be.
Some maybe for the good match, and some like finally big match. John didn't win didn't win the big fight.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. You could be right.
Yeah. I wonder. I don't know what the symbolic nature of leaving the armband in the middle is. He trying to say he's retiring?
That's one rumor. Some of the rumors were saying that he's switching his gimmick and he's not going to go with the Never Give Up. Maybe he'll turn heel.
Always give up.
Come back with a always give up. He's flipping completely. I'm not sure. I guess time will tell whenever he's back on TV.
There is pretty much a rumor of him. He's leaving to do a TV show. Mm-hmm. That kind of killed some of the nature of this because you had a feeling he was going to lose this one because he's not going to be on TV anymore, or not on TV for a while anyway.
Yeah, well.
But even with that, I bet John Cena
the John Cena style would be
still
he's
win.
Out. Yeah, good luck to you, Styles.
Yep. So next we have Gallows and Anderson versus the New Day,
and this is where the crowd was completely sucked out of the event.
Dude, after the AJ Styles match, that was it. The crowd was dead.
Yeah,
they were done. I don't know what happened. I know it's a long event, but wow.
Yeah, and. They seemed they were into the AJ and John Cena match, so maybe it was just a adrenaline dump. Who knows? That was kind of the turning point of the pay-per-view because you could tell the workers were struggling. The matches kind of fell off, in my opinion.
Oh, this match was horrible.
The crowd was not into it at all. The Jon Stewart thing was awful.
I mean, it was funny, but he's really exposing things because he's like not even scared that he's gonna get fucking whatever happens they do to him. He's not even scared that this thing. He's just making sure his shirt's tucked in so his belly doesn't show.
To get his nuts smashed into the
post. He's just kind of sitting there like, no, don't. And like it just kind of seemed a little awkward. Why he was there? Like he's about to get out of the ring, then he doesn't get out of the ring, and just that whole thing was just weird. There was definitely some time botches or something there.
Yeah.
Then Big E comes down. He disrupts the match, and so technically
DQ.
Gallows and Anderson win by DQ.
Yeah.
Titles don't swap, obviously, for DQs. Why New Day still has a title? I don't know.
I'm okay with them continuing it. I wish it would have been a little more decisive. I hope that they continue to build Gallows and Anderson. You don't want to start jeopardizing your tag team division already when it's pretty thin and you're struggling with whatever they're the Shining Wizards or Shining Stars.
The Shining Stars
that are trying to come back, and then you have Gold Dust and
Truth.
Yeah, Golden Truth. You have all these random tag teams. You need someone like Gallows and Anderson. This doesn't help them at all. It seems like the feud's going to continue, which is weird because SummerSlam is usually the end of all the feuds. It's just weird.
So next we have Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE World Championship. So this is probably the letdown match of the night for me.
Yeah.
Because I really thought this is where Dean is going to come out and show everybody he can be that great champion, not just the good guy now on promos, because his promos are great.
Yeah, still.
But they've been better and better. This whole build-up was pretty good.
Yeah, and the build-up from the final SmackDown before SummerSlam was awesome. Dolph Ziggler got to finally show his strength on the mic and show some aggression and, bring everyone in to this match, build it up a little bit more. So I was really looking forward to this, and I agree with you, letdown of the night.
Oh, yeah. It was... I don't know what's up with Dean. It's kind of weird to me that when Roman Reigns won the title, his matches were getting better and better. Mm-hmm. As he had the championship, for some reason with Dean, his matches are getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
It's really, really weird. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's trying to tell him you should do it like this, but it's not working.
And I thought this was finally where he has a great worker like Dolph, and Dolph has aggression, so we'd see a different side of Dolph Ziggler. And it was random. There were so many random spots. The one that I noted was Dolph Ziggler kind of slaps Dean Ambrose. It looks like he goes for a low blow, I guess.
Yeah.
And then puts him into a sleeper.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Weirdest thing.
But that was the entire match. It was random crap like that. Ambrose gets super kicked. They're on the outside. He gets super kicked. And blatantly obvious, he falls into the barricade. And then jumps.
And he jumps.
Trying to fix it.
Trying to make sure he's bent over the barricade right. Yeah. It looked fucking stupid. All right, so we'll focus a little bit more on the match here in the beginning. So notice Dolph's new tights.
Yeah. let's focus more on the match.
Yeah.
Dolph's new tights.
Yes, exactly. So I just wanted to get to my notes here. This is what I wanted. Focus on the notes.
Right.
So for some reason, he has for free on his ass. Which I thought was hilarious. I know there's some text above it, but you can't read it.
No.
So it's just big letters. It
Terrible
says for
design.
free right on his ass. He's got a big old American flag down one of his legs, and then a "Don't Tread on Me" flag on the other.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know Dolph was such a patriot. I had no idea where this comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's bringing back the real Americans.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
in Silver Ranger mode.
It was the weirdest, the weirdest tight design I've ever seen. Fucking baffled the shit out of me, and I couldn't stop. And then, but I guess that advertising on his ass worked because I kept staring at his ass, looking at for free, just laughing because it was just so funny how it was on his ass. I noticed in the beginning when they first get in the ring, they kind of did like a UFC type build up. They had a couple guys in there, keeping them separate as they yell at each other.
Yeah, which that was kind of cool. I think what they were trying to do. Well, I don't know if this is what they were trying to do, but it was similar to the Shinsuke and Samoa Joe, but only poorly done.
Right.
So I could appreciate what they were attempting to do. But
right.
They're
trying to make this look like it's going to be a knockout, drag-out fight, but it just never really quite turned in that. There was these moments where Dean seemed to be like he was angry, and he really wanted to hurt Dolph Ziggler, but it just didn't really quite pan out. There were some other ones, and I didn't quite note this that well, but was this a no DQ? Because there just seemed like there was a bunch of matches on this card that were no DQ, and I don't know why.
What was funny is right after you get the disqualification finish, that was the switch. It seemed like every match from this point on was no disqualification.
And I never knew anything about it.
No.
I don't think they ever announced, when the ring announcer never said anything about this is a no DQ.
No.
False count or something.
Right.
Nothing was said. And so you just kind of get these ideas that, okay, I guess this is a DQ. They're just fighting on this outside and they're not getting counted out.
Yeah.
Why? What's going on? I'm confused.
Yeah, exactly. And this is... I'm going to bring up the ugly title again, but it seems like WWE half-asses everything. And it's
like SummerSlam caught them off guard.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, SummerSlam's here? Like,
oh my gosh. One of our biggest pay-per-views of the year every year.
We need that new title order, don't we?
Yeah.
Find one of the old ones and just put a red strap on the back. Make it look like a licorice.
Yeah.
So it just fucking was weird.
Yeah, and I don't know.
So then we have the awkward finish.
Yeah, so it was like a face plant type.
I don't know if it was like a chin buster or something off the top rope.
That he blocked.
That I guess he just stood up so it didn't affect him. I don't know. They landed on his feet.
He hulked up.
Yeah, he just landed on his feet instead of, like, I guess he was supposed to land on his knees, so he smashed into him a little bit or something.
And then he went, haha, and gave
so
him
then
the
he
dirty
just
deeds.
pulls him into dirty deeds, which seems to be the most secure finish in all of fucking wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Because it's the only one that's finishing people right now.
That's one positive.
Yeah, no series of major false finishes. It definitely didn't fit. It definitely finished him. But the one thing I was shocked about, because I'm pretty sure this was no DQ, Why the fuck wouldn't Bray Wyatt be in this? He was all in the buildup of this. He was he was intermingled. He was woven into it. But yet you don't have one of your major guys on SmackDown on SummerSlam. In SummerSlam.
Right, at all.
Why? What? He wasn't. This was no DQ. He doesn't try to fuck somebody.
Yeah.
Screw Dolph or screw Dean, and then you have your next fucking feud after that.
Right.
Something? Anything?
Now
triple threat then between Dolph Ziggler, Bray Wyatt, and him? Something?
Yeah.
Why?
Now it's going to be a forced feud after this. Maybe the separate pay-per-views will start to. You can give more time to your show, to your feuds. It's going to be a lot. 2 pay-per-views a month. But maybe that we'll be able to benefit from that because this was a card chock full of a bunch of stuff. And yeah, like you said, one of your top guys, Bray Wyatt, gets left off. Right. And then you have Cesaro, who you should be building, who you should be pushing.
Same with Sami Zayn. He was on the pre-show.
Yeah, that's right.
He just had the best match ever in Battleground.
Yeah.
With Kevin Owens.
And Kevin Owens starts the pay-per-view off.
And Sami Zayn's on
Bravo.
Pre-show. Yep. Wow. Really weird. I don't know. New era, I guess. Okay. Yeah. So next we have Nikki Bella, Natalya, Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Carmella. We didn't really watch this. Paused every once in a while for some ass shots. Yeah. That was about it. So
Nikki Bella returned.
Yeah, Nikki Bella returns. She wins with a new finisher. She doesn't have her big tit attack anymore. Rack attack. So she doesn't do that anymore because of her hurt neck, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So now she kind of turns him, I don't know.
Into an RKO type thing.
Yeah, she's really cool now. So that was the end of that match. So next we have Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins to become the first WWE Universal Champion.
And this is also where I was confused. Okay, so we thought we were getting towards the end of the pay-per-view, and then there's still 2 more matches after this.
Right.
And we completely forgot about the Lesnar and Orton match. And so we're like, wait, the fucking U.S. title match?
Yeah, the U.S. title match is going to be the closer? Oh, my God.
So I guess that was kind of a filler. We'll get into that. So they unveiled this awesome new Universal Championship belt. I don't know if that's what got the crowd back into it, or this was the other match that they were waiting to see, but the crowd seemed back into it. And
kinda. So there's something I heard from people I was listening to some videos and stuff about guys that were there, and we looked for this. There was no presentation of the title in SummerSlam, right?
Right.
We looked. We were kind of fast forwarding through a little bit. Yeah. Through the thing, but then you rewound back and you kept rewinding back, and it was just the title was just there.
Yeah,
they just showed it. They're like, "Oh, here's our new Universal title." They had it displayed in the middle ring. Well, according to people that were there, they did unveil it. They had Mick Foley, Stephanie McMahon in the ring. They pulled it down, and apparently, according to some of the people that were there, the crowd gasped.
Really?
And I think that's why they cut it out because the reaction of the crowd. And I think there was
cut
like
it out
this,
live though.
Well, they always got a delay on these things to cut things out just in case.
That's true. And they own the network.
Right. We weren't even watching the live version.
No, we weren't.
So we don't know if it was live. If it was live, let us know.
Yeah.
But in the version we watched, it wasn't there.
I don't think it was. They put over the promo package to Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, and then it just showed up. The belt, and we're like, okay, that looks terrible.
Apparently, It was a very overwhelming, almost gasp. It was like, it was really bad reaction, and that is probably a very good reason why they didn't show that in the already on live version.
So before we get into the match, I'm gonna go on a little rant here about the belt and the fallout from it, because Seth Rollins had tweeted something about it's not about what the belt looks like. It's about the 2 people in the ring wrestling for it and what it represents. Mick Foley, it got, 11,000 loves or whatever on Twitter and hearts. And then Mick Foley takes to social media. You get a little bit more characters on Facebook. So I read his whole thing, and he goes on to this long rant of how he was disappointed. Oh, and that was the end of Seth Rollins' tweet, as he said he was disappointed in the Brooklyn fans. And then Mick Foley elaborates on that and talks about the hardcore title, how it was just garbage, and he was supposed to represent it. That's a little bit different. The hardcore belt is a hardcore belt representing a hardcore wrestler I couldn't see the comparison there. I thought they were kind of being crybabies because Seth Rollins and Finn Balor apparently weren't the focal point. I could enjoy the fans' chants, and I laughed at it and still enjoyed the match. I still thought it was a great match. So to think that apparently the vocal minority ruined it for everyone else is asinine. And you know what? If you don't want that to happen, if you don't want the focal point to be on your ugly fucking belt, then don't make an ugly fucking belt. Make something that it actually seems worthy of these two guys who are putting their bodies on the line and they are putting on a great show. Make it something worthy for them to go after. But that's been my problem for the past couple fucking belts, is that they've been these garbage toy looking things that I couldn't give a shit that someone wins. There's no representative of I'm the best in the world because this is the best company in the world. I'm the best, wrestler. This is what I represent. It's just garbage. And so that's kind of my feeling on it. And also, you know what? They're paying fans, so they can boo, they can take over the show or do whatever the hell they want.
For me, the belt is not necessarily ugly. It's not the greatest thing to look at, but what it is not creative. Mm-hmm. It's extremely, extremely lazy.
Yeah.
And that is fucking phenomenally lazy on what they just did. They just changed the strap color.
Yeah. Well, so
that's it. And then changed the title. I mean, it's like you have the women's title, which has the white. Mm-hmm. Then you have the regular title. And then you have this one. And it's just they're all three the same.
Right. It's
just different straps.
Well, Good Morning America, they have pictures of Finn Balor, Universal Champion, and Charlotte. And, they were there kind of talking about SummerSlam and whatnot, the WWE, and people were making fun of it, saying, and your new tag team champions. Because that's kind of what it looks like.
Right.
It is incredibly lazy, and I didn't really care for the one that Dean Ambrose has. I felt that was a little too basic. They should have added more to it. And I think there was a picture floating around that was a red backdrop with a black strap. And I thought, okay, that's lazy, but it actually would have looked better than an entire red belt. And to me, it looks ugly. It looks like a toy. It's to sell toys. And that's what it seems like to me. It doesn't seem like a legit, I'm a badass, I'm a champion, I'm representing the company, I'm representing a brand. It seems like something that could attract to children, and we're going to sell a shitload of these. That's what it seemed like to me.
Right. All right, let's actually...
Anyways, on to... That's the end of my rant, but I was fired up.
So I thought it was a good match overall. Again, I think it was no DQ again.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Must have been.
Because they were fighting on the outside for quite a while, and there was no counts.
Mm-hmm.
So again, another no DQ. Don't know why. It was a good match. I liked it overall. I was expecting a little bit more out of these two guys.
Yeah, it felt a little fast-paced for me. A little like they were trying to get too much in. And I did like the little bit of story of Finn Balor going for the coup de grace. It was his fourth attempt when he finally hit it. So that was kind of cool. He didn't hit it 3 times and Seth Rollins kicked out. He just kept missing it. He kept trying to set up for it, which makes sense if that's your finisher and that's how you're trying to finish a match or trying to win a belt. You would go for your finisher multiple times and they wouldn't fucking kick out.
Right.
So I thought it was an entertaining match. Those were the complaints I had about it, but I enjoyed it. I thought they did a great job. The crowd did seem into it, minus what Mick Foley said that it was being taken over by the vocal minority. I felt that the crowd was behind this match, and this is what the next match that they were looking forward to.
The one thing in this match also was the frog splashes that happened through this whole pay-per-view.
Right.
Last time Battleground was nothing but super kicks.
Yeah.
And now everybody was doing frog splashes. No wins.
Right. Just burying Eddie Guerrero and RVD's finisher.
So that was a little bit of a weird thing. It just seems like all these guys get together and, all right, what old finisher can we fuck up this time?
Right, yeah. Can we use it as a high spot?
Finn wins. That was kind of a little bit of a surprise. It kind of felt like it was going to go that way anyway. They were pushing him pretty hard.
Yeah, I did feel that they were pushing him hard, but I thought it was similar to an AJ Styles, where he got an early push as a surprise, like, ooh, we'll give you a surprise on Raw, and then he'll be the number one contender, but then Seth Rollins would win. that's kind of, I feel like Seth Rollins has been kind of the forefront of the Raw brand, of, building that side. Even before it was split, he was kind of on the forefront of a lot of it, which rightfully so. I like him. I think he's great on the mic, great in-ring performer. So I was surprised that they were like, okay, we're going to go with Finn Balor. Unfortunately, as of today, they said that he suffered a shoulder injury when he got powerbombed into the barricade. And apparently, his shoulder got knocked out of socket, and he put it back in. And so he kind of continued on through the match. That's the rumor anyways. So unfortunately, after, an injury, the push didn't last very long.
Right.
I don't know. Good match. Again, I like the storytelling. Finally on his fourth coup de grace. Nails it. Picks up the win.
So next we have the United States Championship match between Roman Reigns and Rusev. Now, okay, so they already fought on Raw, and Reigns won clean.
Right.
So now they do the schmoz one, where it just becomes this big brawl. The fight never gets started. The match never gets started. And they just keep beating each other up. And and after watching this and see how it went down, it feels like they meant to swap these. Like, this was supposed to happen on Raw.
Yeah.
So it starts the shit.
Right.
And then, like, Rusev could be injured, whatever. And then they have the match.
Show up to the match, tape ribs.
Yeah, and then they have the match now. And that's what it just felt like it should have been.
Yeah.
But no, they did it opposite. It's like you do the DQ or the no contest on the SummerSlam, but you have the match on Raw?
Yeah, again, so it feels like this feud is continuing past SummerSlam.
Oh, it's got to.
Yeah, so that's what's weird. As SummerSlam is usually the payoff, and I guess it was a cool segment. They seemed
they were beating the fuck. Roman Reigns was beating the fuck out. Rusev.
Yeah, the spear looked awesome.
Oh, the spear was excellent.
Yeah,
that was fantastic. Lana looked retarded standing there with a diaper. I don't know what the fuck she was wearing. I don't know if that's an actual, like, wedding dress style, but if it is, you got problems.
Yeah.
You got some serious mental issues if you're going to stand there looking like you're wearing a fucking diaper. Because there's some lace on
jewels on it. Yeah.
That was bad. But one of the best highlights, though, if you can watch this, is when after the spear and Reigns just gets pumped up and he's screaming. He walks over to the edge of the barriers and just screaming, and this guy on the screen just gets right up in his face.
Yep, and starts screaming too.
Yeah, with him. Like, they're right in front of each other screaming.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
I'm telling you, go back and watch that part. It'll make you'll die laughing.
Oh, yeah. You forget all about the beatdown and just start laughing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that match ends in no contest. So now we get to the Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. It's all been built up. You're starting to get you actually got a little bit of a feeling that this was going to be a different match, and that Orton was going to possibly maybe win this, or he would have a chance.
Yeah,
you felt like this is what it was building to. Mm-hmm. And no, again, it was another no DQ, which no one knew about. I don't think anybody did. If people knew about this, please let me know, because I didn't know any of these matches were going to be no DQ. It was like Extreme Rules or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, a no DQ, and it just ended up being the same formulaic Brock match.
Yeah, which sucks, because I like Brock Lesnar, but I was expecting something different. But you're right, pretty formulaic. Just beats the crap out of Randy Orton. Randy Orton kind of gets some stuff in a little bit. He hits the one RKO on the table that doesn't break.
Right.
After being hucked into the other table. And I don't think he was helping Lesnar much.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was dead weighting a lot of those suplexes.
Even that throw, that hurl that Lesnar had to do, it was kind of seemed like he was making him work for it. Like, all right, fucking throw me, you big jackass.
He definitely dead weighted him on a lot of those throws. It was a weird match because just the way they built it, you just felt like Orton was going to pull something off. This is a guy that's held the championship a lot. Mm-hmm. This has been a contender, and yet you just basically have him get beat down like all the previous guys.
Yeah.
And so badly.
Right. The finish has been up for debate because a lot of people don't think that was supposed to be the finish, that they were supposed to get it to an Orton build. And he was going to start feeling, after some elbows or whatever, he was supposed to start kind of feeding into it and then actually get some of his stuff in. And the rumor is that Lesnar was pissed because not only was Orton not really selling that great of all of his stuff, he also was dead weighting him. And so he decided to, and you could probably speak to this, he decided to give him some elbow strikes, and they were kind of, I guess, over the top elbow, which are a little bit more
he used
dangerous.
the pointed part of it. He used the pointed part, and he did an elbow slash, which is what they do in MMA a lot. You go above the eye, and you go across. You don't hit them with your elbow, but you basically use the point of your elbow like a knife.
Right.
And you slice, and it basically draws the blood down in the person's eye, makes it harder for them to see, so it's kind of like a tactic.
Yeah, so, but what I was reading today is that he used a banned MMA elbow.
A banned MMA elbow would be a straight downward punt elbow, straight down like that.
Okay, which it wasn't.
Yeah, a downward elbow.
I think it was called 12-6.
Yeah, 12-6. Thank you. Yeah, 12-6 motion.
Which now that makes sense as I was reading it.
It's a downward elbow strike. No, he went straight across.
No, yeah.
He used the slashing technique. There wasn't an illegal elbow.
Yeah, so that kind of puts the kibosh on.
He definitely busted him open hard
right.
way.
And I like that finish, whether it was intended or not. I feel like the match itself could have been a lot better, building to the finish. But I do like that finish, and I even like Shane McMahon running out.
Really?
And I
thought that was stupid as shit.
Well, it's his guy. It's one of his top guys on his roster, and he's like, "Hey, fucker, like knock it off," because Lesnar just kept going. There's blood everywhere. The trainers are trying to get to him. I liked all of this. I liked, he was gushing blood. He needed 10 stitches apparently. So I liked how a lot of that went. And then it's the rumor. I don't know if it's confirmed or not. Is that when Lesnar came in the back, he got into an altercation with Chris Jericho. Because Chris Jericho felt that wasn't the intentional finish, and that it was stopped, that it wasn't supposed to be a TKO, and he thought that Lesnar was intending to injure Randy Orton.
The elbows were on purpose. The elbows were designed the way they were. They were meant to cut. Mm-hmm. Those were real. The punches were not. If he really wanted to get in and actually hurt Randy, he was basically punching Randy right on his forearms.
Yeah.
He was coming right up the top. That's not what you would do.
Right. And a little bit on his shoulder.
You would come in the side or go up the middle. You would work around if you really wanted to punch a guy in the face. What he was doing was just basically for show, pounding the top of his forearms. Yeah, that still may fucking hurt if he's really doing it.
Right. Because,
big motherfucker wears like 5X gloves or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And you're still smashing your forearms and your forearms going in your face. Yeah,
right.
It can still hurt. But if you really wanted to hurt him, there's a lot better ways. Plus, he would just grab his fucking hands and probably move him out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he does. He does that rape choke, too.
Yeah. So
that's what it's called.
Yeah, so I think that this is just the internet wrestling community kind of building shit up and throwing it out there early of like, oh, there was an altercation with Jericho and Lesnar after the match. This wasn't supposed to happen, and it was a legitimate injury. I don't know if it was or not, but it looked cool. I like blood in fights and in wrestling.
I like that. I just didn't like the TKO finish. This isn't MMA. It's wrestling. And I guess you said there was another TKO finish somewhere, but I've never heard of a TKO finish.
So when Kevin Owens first arrived and he was feuding with Sami Zayn in NXT and he first wins the belt, it was by TKO. And basically he gives Sami Zayn the pop-up powerbomb on the ring apron, which he did in the build to it.
I remember that.
And I think he does it in the match as well when it gets to that part. And after that, Sami Zayn is just kind of stumbling and he can't quite get his bearings. And it was a beatdown similar to this. And basically, Owens shows that, he's a badass. And trainers slide in and they say, oh, nope, he can't continue, TKO. No. And I like it. It's a different finish for one, because some of these finishes get fucking ridiculous and redundant. So I like that they use a different finish. They don't use it too often, and they use it to build up someone as a badass. And Kevin Owens and Brock Lesnar, those are two different badasses, but I felt that it worked.
The Shane run-in, I don't know. I felt like it was supposed to be shocking when he F5s him. And I was like, it just seemed like a mile away coming, and just
easily.
And it wasn't. And then you're expecting something else to happen, either Bill Goldberg, somebody come out, and nothing ever does. He just walks up the ramp and just looks menacing.
Yeah,
and that was it. And he just does it to him.
And I think this match didn't go longer than 12 minutes
we knew that
based on the timestamp, because we weren't live. And so when we were fast forwarding to get to the point where I made the comment, this is going to be a quick match.
Yeah.
So from all of, I want to say the build, the match, and the post stuff was no longer than 15 minutes. So that was kind of weird.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our breakdown of WWE SummerSlam. Thanks again for listening or viewing us. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page at Comic Movie Marks, and make sure you like us and review us and love us on iTunes or any Android-supported podcast app.
Yes, and please be sure to follow us on all social media. We are at Comic Movie Marks on Facebook, Twitter, and the Instagram.
Thanks, bitches. Out.
Peace.